I'm gonna show you how to deal with the opium crisis, modernize Qing in just a few years, as well as restore the Mandate of Heaven and its many tributaries by switching Qing from an agrarian society to the greatest industrial nation there is. Now, before we do anything, I have to standardize my armies, guys. This is absolutely disgusting. I'm just gonna be disbanding everything so we get 3 main army groups. Now, my 3 army groups are gonna be the Manchu, the North China, and the South China army, and as you would imagine, they're gonna be stationed to garrison each of the 3 headquarters by the sea, so that when the war with the English start, we have all 3 possible naval invasion HQs protected. What I mean by this is that I'm going to be ignoring the eastern provinces because no one's going to be invading us from the east anytime soon, and the composition is going to be roughly 135, 140 infantry with 25 hussars for each of the 3 army groups. I'm also going to add some cannon artillery later down the line before we actually get into some combat, but we're a long way from that. We need to discuss about our horrible technology first and foremost, because this is not good, boys. We need to get stock exchange for the extra market access price impact, and more importantly, romanticism, so we get access to agrarianism, which is the legislation we need to switch to from traditionalism. Legislation wise, we are really far behind everybody else, and we need to modernize if we are to keep with the rest of the world and not just be food for the great powers. Traditionalism is a really important one to pass away, because right now it offers minus 25% taxation capacity, and taxation is one of our biggest bane. We're literally losing 750,000 ducats in unrealized taxes. That means we do not have the taxation capacity to get all the money from the people. Switching from traditionalism is going to help with that, but not only that, we also need to get better technology such as central archives that increases taxation capacity and offers standardized filing system for the government administration buildings, so we can tax more people with the same amount of government administration buildings. Later we'll also do identification documents, central planning, and so on to help out with taxing people more efficiently. But the idea is that if we simply just spam government administration buildings, it's going to end up being more expensive than it's worth having these buildings. Also, getting institutions in the early phase of the campaign is a big no-no because it costs 3,600 bureaucracy per level of institution, so we're going to avoid getting any actual institutions. We're going to reform the government, get the rural folk in here, armed forces, and the confused scholars as well. Now we have 70% legitimacy, but that's actually something we can work with, and it gives us access to some more legislation we can pass. A really important one to pass is professional army, because it will allow us to conscript cannon artillery. Right now, cannon artillery would be the best unit we could have, since it has 25 offense, 15 defense, and 10% kill rate, compared to the irregulars, which are just 10 offense, 10 defense, and the hussars, which are 15 offense, 10 defense. So not really that amazing to defend against the British with. Foreign policy wise, we're going to cancel the interests we have right now around Asia, and we're going to get some new interests in the Rhine, which allows us to get trade deals going with the French, with the Dutch, the Belgians, the Germans. If you're trying to trade for something and you're not able to trade with some nations, it's probably because you do not share a mutual interest on the map with those targeted nations. So in order to get trade with them, you just got to get an interest. It's fairly easy. So aside from the Rhine, we're also going to do Dixie, which will allow us to import from the Americans, and even Danubia will allow us to trade with the Ottomans and a few other nations in that particular area. We're also going to get some more rivals, including Nepal, Burma, Japan, Siam, Diviet, and whoever else we have as an available rival. Now that we got a lot more influence, we're going to use this influence to improve relations. We're going to do relations with the Russians, relations with the British, even with the Spaniards, and everyone else that we have the availability to improve relations with. We're going to be able to improve with the Prussians and the French after the interest finishes building up. We have quite a bit of authority. I'm going to go temporarily on very high government wages, which means I end up with 1,000 authority. Why am I doing that? Well, because one thing that really sets China apart from the rest of the nations is how illiterate they are. We've got 12.2 literacy. It is abysmal. As consequence, that little literacy means that we only can get up to 68 innovation cap, so we really can not catch up with the rest of the great powers technologically speaking. So to fix that, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our population map mode, and then every single one of the provinces that has really high population. We're going to right click and we're going to set up promote social mobility decree. This gives education access, meaning people in these particular provinces will be more educated and it will increase our literacy, as well as it gives 25% more qualifications. Make sure you stay on this particular map so it's easier to see which states have higher population and which don't. And I'm targeting the higher population states because our overall literacy will be going up significantly faster. There you go. So now if we go to the political lens decree, we see that we've got a lot more decrees than we would normally be able to get, simply because we went to very high government wages, and now we're going to go to very low, and we're going to end up with -80, which means 1% extra radicals. But realistically, it's really not that big of a deal, and that allowed us to get 2 more decrees, which we would not be able to get otherwise. We're also going to go for very low military wages because we don't need to worry about the army right now, and medium taxation. So we end up with 100,000 balance for our economy. Change to iron frame buildings, and we're going to start getting some more construction sectors in Shanxi. This particular state has 3.5 million population, but more importantly, it has 60 infrastructure. Infrastructure is going to be our biggest bane early in the campaign if we want to start scaling up like crazy, because after all, we do not intend on going outside of China much, since we'll be playing toll. We have all or most of the resources we need in this campaign in our starting provinces. We don't need to rely on anybody else. Rubber's pretty much going to be the only issue, which is why we're going to get some late game. We're going to get some colonies in Africa perhaps. So I'm going to start with 5 construction sectors in Shanxi. Why am I choosing that also, aside from what I just mentioned? It's because we have iron mines, coal mines, which means that in this particular state, we don't need to worry about the market access price impact as much as we would need to worry outside of Shanxi. Market access price impact basically determines the price of goods. So because we only have 65 right now nationwide pretty much, if we were to import our construction goods in Shanxi, the iron, the tools, and etc., it would be 35% more expensive to import these goods from other provinces than it would be to just have all the goods available in Shanxi. So we're essentially going to rely on a few bigger states that have all the resources early in the campaign to fuel our economy. Now that does mean we're going to need a lot of qualified population in these areas. So we're going to be building universities in these areas too after. Before we queue up the universities though, the queue is going to look like this: 5 iron mines right after the construction sectors, couple of tooling workshops, and more importantly than anything else is we're going to need some artillery foundries if we are to defend against the British successfully or against any would-be attackers. We're also going to be canceling the 2 starting trade routes, and we're going to get some new trade routes. I'm going to be importing from the Russians most of my hardwood, and I'm also going to import some regular wood from the Russians because Russia does have a lot of wood. I'm also going to be exporting what I have excess of, so that means export the grain to the Spaniards, to the British, to the sick, and everybody else that I can export to. Same goes for fiber, exported everywhere we can export it to. And we're going to keep some slots open because we will need to import a lot of iron and tools, and that's going to be done after we've gotten the declared interests finished. Let's also not forget to change state for our fleet and rename it to the Massive Chinese Armada. Clearly, we have an amazing fleet. Am I right, guys? Come on. Look at that. We already have massive shortages of iron, so let's go ahead and start importing Russian iron, British iron, Spanish iron, any type of iron that we can get our hands on. We're going to be importing it, boys. Also, let's get some more generals. Always be on the lookout for really good traits for your generals. For example, this guy can give us adamant defense as an order, which means we get 15% extra defense and dug-in chance plus 100%. So always go for these type of generals, since mostly we're going to be defending in the early part of the campaign than anything. Again, another adamant defense guy. Hell yeah, I'm taking both. Another thing to take note of is you need to have command limit for your armies. If you're above the command limit, what happens is it lowers your organization, which gives some serious buffs. We get offense defense debuff, morale recovery debuff, and so on from lowered organization level. So we're just going to be promoting some generals to make sure we have enough organization for our armies. And if our generals have the last stand order, that is preferred, because even though it gives more casualties for us, we don't care. We have literally millions of people we can muster. We start with 366 million population, so pops is never going to be an issue for Qing. Opium addiction is ravaging Great Qing, making it not so great anymore. This is due to the British flooding our market with opium in order to get filthy rich by being the sole provider of said opium. Now we have the option of doing something about it, or we can just wussy out and try not to risk the ire of the British. We're going to do something about it. Now we do have 10 years to do something about it. We're going to be able to ban the opium trade, and the way this works is for 5 years, we need to have the opium trade banned without anybody opposing that. That means we need to make sure the British do not force us to open the opium trade for 5 years at least. There's a few things you can do about it. There's a little bit of a cheese with deleting ports along the coastline, which we're not going to do today. We're just going to take a bit of a more regular approach where we're going to get our truce with the British by attacking the Portuguese. Now, the British will join on the side of the Portuguese. That is pretty much a guarantee. There you go. As expected, the British have joined and they have war reparations as their war target. The Portuguese also have transfer of Lan Fang. I couldn't give less of a schnitzel about Lan Fang personally, so they can have that. And I don't mind paying the British war reparations for a few years, as long as that means that I don't need to worry about the British whilst I'm passing my ban on opium. So boom, we banned opium. It's Jover for the opium lords. Hey, we can even execute some of these opium lords. I'm down for that always, as you guys know. Now, another issue we have is that we started with 1,000 convoys, and as you can see, most of our convoys are taken up by the British trade for fabric and grain. We're going to cancel these trades, which free up 400 more convoys. So that means the iron imports that we have with other nations will have the ability to grow, since now we have convoys available. Trade routes do not grow if you don't have enough convoys for these trade routes. I'm saying this because I know a lot of people have commented how come I've got bigger trade routes. It's because I have convoys. You need to build ports to get more convoys to get more trade in this game. As any trading game, it needs convoys to trade. We're also going to be importing some tools from the Prussians, the Belgians, and everyone else here. Russians, why not? Might as well. Now, seeing as we desperately need to get some artillery, we have started importing artillery from the Prussians, and we're going to get 10 artillery in each of our armies for now. We're also going to bring this up at the top of the queue because it is a little bit of a priority to get these units. Let's go, baby, to war. Can I tell you guys a little bit of a secret? I'm going to lose this war. So then why did I do it? Because I don't care that I'm going to lose the war. I just want to get that truce with the English. That's it. So I'm going to capitulate. I don't need to lose any actual units here. There you go. Oh no, we lost Steiner. No problem. Now we have peace. So even if the British want to, because they have that truce, they cannot attack us for 5 years, which is the exact amount of time we need in order to ban opium. Boys, that's it. That right there is how you handle this. Now we do have an issue. We got our diplomats expelled by the Russians. So we're going to keep on building these barracks because we might need them in a potential war against Russia. And also, I'm going to get some more construction sectors. Say another 5 for now, because we need to build these barracks a little bit faster. They are also damaging relations with us, so I'm pretty confident that they're going to attack us at some point. Oh, people are recovering from addiction. I love to see that, boys. I love to see that. You see 700,000 people just became loyalists from that one event. That is crazy. We also just got a peasants movement, so I'm going to bolster this. I do need some authority for that. So I'm going to again give very high government wages to my officials temporarily, and we're going to be removing, unfortunately, a few of our promote social mobility decrees. It pains me to do this, but it has to be done. I guess these are the weakest links here, so let's go back and bolster the peasants movement, and of course go back to very low wages for our government officials. Now, that being said, I'll be honest with you guys, I forgot to start doing a legislation. I've been going 1 year without any legislation. I am just an absolute poo-poo brain. I was gonna do professional army, and I'm still gonna attempt to do professional army because we don't have enough support for homesteading just yet. We need to wait until our peasants build up a tiny bit more of momentum before we actually click on homesteading. Wait, what? No way. No way the freaking French want to have a trade agreement with me. That means that the French might even be willing to ally me. That's the one nation I wasn't improving relations with. What is their attitude towards me? Cooperative. Well, that's a nice change of pace from domineering. Thank you very much. I'm gonna attempt my best to actually get an alliance with France. That would fix everything for me, honestly. Hey, we're getting 5 iron for basically free as well now. Also gonna queue up my universities, a couple of them in Shaanxi, Chongqing, Yunnan, and basically the states where I plan on building up most of my industry early on in the campaign. Beijing is usually the big issue because even though it's an amazing state, it has no infrastructure, so we really will be struggling to get any sort of infrastructure in there. Without setting up the decree for the road maintenance, it's impossible to even build in Beijing, unfortunately. That being said, we're also going to queue up 10 more iron mines in Shaanxi for now, and I'm also going to be eyeing up Russia. Whenever I'm able to improve relations with them, I'll instantly be doing it because Russia is big and scary and I really wouldn't want to be their little snack. Oh, what the shit? We actually went to adoption? When did we even go to consideration phase, my dude? I genuinely don't even know when we went to consideration phase. That is crazy to me. Hey, that's good though. That makes up for the freaking 1 year that we lost early on in the campaign. Again, the best part about professional army is the fact that we will be able able to recruit artillery as conscripts, so we don't need to stress about wars in the future, because we're basically just gonna have all of our conscript artillery units, and that's it. Also gonna push up these iron mines a little bit above his. Iron really is a freaking massive issue right now. Holy shit. Also gonna have to cancel another major trade route with the Spaniards. 200 convoys were tied up in that, and that's 200 convoys that I need for my iron trade. Y'all are upset because I'm not pronouncing iron the right way. It's supposed to be pronounced Iran. Iran. From now on, I'm gonna say Iran. Okay, you happy now? You look what you made me do. Were you not happy with iron? Now you're gonna hear me say Iran for the rest of the freaking eternity. Guess you could say it's a little bit ironic, eh? Hey, 10% market access price impact. That is so good. So that essentially means that we get 10% cheaper goods when trading between our provinces, when using goods between our provinces, better said. We are getting passive research towards cotton gin, but I want to do lace and atmospheric engine ASAP, so we actually start getting a decent production of minerals. And I'm also gonna queue up empiricism. I'm kind of lucky here because we do have a passive research, both empiricism and for cotton gin, so it's not as bad as it would be otherwise. Well, we would have been real lucky if we actually had passive research spread towards romanticism. That would have been really perfect game right there. Now that being said, we have passed professional army, which means that not only do we get 100 maximum barracks in each state, we also get conscription rate, morale loss reduction, weekly unit experience gain, and also political strength for servicemen rather than aristocrats. So we lose the 25% political strength for aristocrats, which is honestly extremely huge since we have a buttload of nasty aristocrats. We don't want them to be in charge as much as they are right now. We have 90% chance of failing homesteading and 9% of pass. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna freaking try. Miracles have been known to happen, but we're likely gonna end up trying tenant farmers afterward. Hey, I can get a trade agreement with the Prussians. Oh, my Schnitzeldorf. That is it. It's Jover. We got all the metal, all the tools we need from Prussia now. More importantly, we can get some of that juicy Prussian meat. Am I right? That was a little bit awkward. I'm probably gonna cut that out. Dude, no freaking way. We can advance by one phase, but that's gonna lower our success chance by 10%. So we're gonna get one setback, although we advance by one phase. I'm gonna take that. That is godsend. Dude, what? No freaking shot. Holy shit, this actually might go on YouTube, guys. In the interest of full disclosure, this is attempt number 12 at getting a perfect start for Qing. So, suffice to say, legislation can really fuck up stuff, Qing, in the early campaign. Oh, I'd rather pass racial segregation than protectionism, so let's go for that. We're also going to queue up some more iron mines in South Manchuria. Let's say 16 more should be okay, considering we have 35 infrastructure there. Ooh, higher learning. Let's go for empiricism, which means we finish getting empiricism now, so that's going to be a huge help, because it's going to bring us even one step closer towards being able to get egalitarianism and so on, pharmaceuticals, the actual legislation that we really need to modernize our country. Central Archives, of course, is the biggest one, in my opinion, from the second tier society tech. Yeah, okay, we're up to 2 setbacks. I spoke way too early, man. I really spoke way too early. We're gonna fail this. We're actually gonna freaking fail this on adoption phase. This is so sad, bro. This is actually so freaking sad. I was getting so hyped up for getting homesteading in 1840, which would be like the most insane run you could possibly imagine. Dude, we can get a defensive pact with Prussia. Oh, do I want to do that though? I kind of want to get one with the French, because the French are really friendly with the... Well, they're actually not rivaled with the Prussians, so we technically could do that. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'm getting that. That's gonna be my way of defending against the British and the Russians potentially. Dude! No shot. No freaking shot we got homesteading. 1841 we got homesteading. What? Look at our loyalists go up like that. Holy shit, this changes everything right now. Now, the big deal with this is that not only do we get rid of the inability for peasants to migrate between our states and to migrate outside of our country, we also got rid of the 50% political strength for the scholars, and 50% of our agricultural buildings and ranches belong to the workers now. Plus, it gives political strength to farmers. So that means we're gonna have a lot of an easier time to get agrarianism. Look at that. We actually almost got agrarianism. We just need to finish researching romanticism. And also our innovation gap went up from 66 to 73, so we can get a few more universities now too. Not gonna lie, guys, that is such a big one. I'm gonna make a quick save here. If you guys want the saves from this particular run, you'll find them on my Patreon if you're a Tribune, or even if you're a channel member, you can find it in the community tab. It's gonna be channel member visible only. Now, we are losing money like crazy, and the reason for that is because we changed to homesteading from serfdom. Of course, the landowners are not happy because of that, and they got minus 18 approval, or better yet, disapproval. So we also get the minus 20% agricultural tax, ranching tax, and plantation tax income debuff, which is huge. It's like 50,000 tax that we're losing on as consequence. That being said, we can stop bolstering the peasants, and we can get again our promote social mobility decrease. And we also can start improving with the Russians because the modifier from having expelled diplomats has ran out already. Hey, we also did the opium crisis. We got like so many awesome events one after the other. 1841 is definitely the year of the Qing, boys. So Manchu and Han population stop being obsessed with opium, and we also get some authority and influence, which means again 200 authority. So it's 2 more decrees for promote social mobility. Look at our freaking standard of living. We skyrocketed from getting homesteading because all of those peasants that were previously not getting much income have ownership of their farms, or at least half of them have ownership of the farms. So that just massively fixes our standard of living issues. And now let's go ahead and attempt to get agrarianism. If we pass this also first time, then this is 100% the run that's actually going to make it onto YouTube. Let's time this as agrarianism passing 1. Again, all of these saves you'll be able to find on my Patreon, or if you become a channel member. It's also time for me to change to secular academia, which means we get more academics that will support the Liberace, the petite bourgeoisie, and the rural folk, compared to the clergymen that support mostly the rural folk, but also the confused scholars. We're gonna do the same actually for the government administration. It's gonna cost us a little bit less paper. Holy mother of God, 48 million loyalists. I keep forgetting that we have 368 million population, and whenever there's like the slightest freaking change in something, there's a massive amount of loyalists or radicals. It's just glorious. Oh, a rousing speech indeed. I'll take it. I'll take it, please. 39% success chance. It's like 39% chance of getting a fort in U4. Please give me this fort. Time to get those extra universities I was talking about earlier, since we've increased our innovation cap a slight bit. Come on, stop being mean, Russia, to me. I love you. You don't need to do this. We can be friends. Discourse with the Liberace. Yeah, okay. I'll take the discourse. We do need some government administration, and I'm gonna queue up a few just because we have to get rid of the 12% tax waste. This is pretty significant tax waste overall on our country. We really gotta make it go away. Ooh, consideration phase. About freaking time, boys. Dude, I could get an alliance if I used obligations with Prussia. Yes, please. Yes, please. An alliance with Prussia means guaranteed protection against the Russians for the rest of the campaign, okay? I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, and I'm also gonna support their independence from the Austrian cucks and formation of Greater Germany. I'm just gonna you know, we're just being peaceful here, helping the rest of the world unite with themselves, okay? Come on. We're the good guys. Check out how much money we're gonna be getting now because of dye workshops, lathes, and leaded glass. It's not gonna make any difference now, but the other two, well, we literally gained 14,000 ducats just from one production method change because of lathes. Oh, I can't wait to get atmospheric engine. That's gonna be the biggest change of them all. Let's check 76 max innovation. Let's get a little bit more innovation, shall we? We're gonna out queue this one university in Shanji as consequence. And adoption phase, a little bit later than I was hoping for it to go to adoption, but it's kind of a guarantee now since we got 79% success chance, right? Hallelujah, 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 ha ha ha. We literally gained 100,000 ducats from switching to agrarianism. Let that sink in, guys. That's how freaking powerful it is, getting that particular legislation. Now, there's a lot of other laws that I love to get my hands on, including National Guard, because of the political strength for servicemen officers, political movement activism reduction, and a lot of other amazing goodies. But as you guys know, it's still expensive to get institutions, and I do not have any bureaucracy to spare. So I'm gonna go for racial segregation. This means we're gonna get a little bit of extra authority compared to cultural exclusion, but it does mean we get less mass accepted pops. That is not an issue though for us, because if we go to society, we see that we have 300 million primary pops, and then we got roughly around 170 million. That's everybody else, right? Now, these everybody else are still gonna be, in essence, full acceptance, even with racial segregation, because of the combination of their culture as well as their religion, because most of them are getting the extra bonus from being the right religion or a similar religion to our Confucian one, such as the Gelugpas, which is the Tengris, and the Mahayanas, and so on. Okay, come on. Why do we have 3,000 freaking bureaucracy on the minus now? Explain that to me, dude. Actually explain that to me. How did we get 3,000 reduction, right? Just like that, like in an instant. What happened? I don't even know what happened that gave me minus 3,000. Now my economy's going to schnitzel again. Oh, working against the system. When did I click this? I don't remember clicking this. Guess I need to be a little bit more careful what I click. So the problem is, because we are not a major power grade power, taking interest is huge, and we already started taking interest, so we need to minimize the amount of interest that we take, or we're gonna end up in a debt spiral that we really don't want to be in. I also gave foreign investment rights to the Prussians in the hopes that they're gonna start building some buildings in my country that would come in massive handy, actually, and we started gaining recognition already. What? Should I request embassy? Screw it, I'm gonna request it. There we go, baby. There we go, baby. All right, we're also gonna get a ton now of extra iron, 600 iron just from switching to this one production method, but that also means we need 400 coal for that. We don't have any, so we have coal queued up right after the government administrations. What we can do instead is we can start switching slowly these production methods one by one and just import a little bit of this coal that we need until we get our actual mines going. Also, can we take a second to appreciate the fact that I went up to 382 million population? We gained in just like 9 years, well, like 11-12 million pops. That is insane. That is, I don't even know what to say about it. Like, it's that ridiculous. US is improving relations with us. Sure, I'll improve with you too. Oh, they want a trade agreement, actually. Yeah, why not? I'm down for that, actually. That would mean one more nation to make money off of. So my biggest bane is also not having enough convoys, which is why I'm gonna queue up a few convoys as well once I'm ready for that, because more convoys as Qing quite literally translates into more massive amounts of money. Remember, guys, we have a massive amount of excess fiber, tea, silk, dyes, all this stuff that the Europeans need to get their hands on, and they mostly cannot access it in Europe, especially dyes they struggle early on in the campaign with. Oh man, they offer us guarantee independence if we back them in. Oh wait, what? What if I want bankroll, actually? Or do I want bankroll from them, actually? They would give me bankroll. I'm gonna decline this, but I'm gonna do it for bankroll. Hey, there we go, baby. There we go. Now, I'm not gonna really be doing much in this particular war, because let's face it, my troops are pretty bad. But I'm gonna send 300 battalions just because I can, and to see if I actually manage to help out the Prussians a little bit in the process. Oh, scumbag Bavaria is helping the Austrians. Really want to see the Prussians win this, because in this patch and the previous patches as well, Prussia has not really been winning against Austria as much as they should. Look at those brave Chinese boyos going across the entirety of the planet to help our Prussian friends. Historical German-Chinese relations, by the way. That's actually a thing. The Germans and the Chinese have been friends for quite a while, actually. Let's see if we're actually gonna have any impact. I kind of doubt that we're gonna have. Oh, actually, no, we did have an impact. What? That is surprising. That is very surprising there. Let me see if my units are even going into. I hope that my units are not going into battle. That would be pretty bad for me. Hey, we got line infantry. No way, we got line infantry. It is so freaking it is over for the whole planet, boys. We're literally the best nation there is now, okay? Let me upgrade the units that are back at home so I don't need to actually, you know, make my frontline unit lack supply. We're seeing a little bit of progress here, not too much though. Pretty much everybody that's on the side of the Prussians pieced out already, which is very unfortunate for us. Kind of get the feeling that we're not gonna win this, guys. Yeah, wait, what? Following were enforced on Bavaria. Oh, they won against Bavaria, so they got the entirety of the Rhineland. That is something. That is definitely something. Meh, they lost. Well, that's very unfortunate. Kind of hoping I'd get a strong German ally. Instead, I get discount Prussia from McDonald's, you know? Whatever the case, let's get back to our expansion here. Time to get a lot more construction sectors and a lot more government administration buildings, because we got 20% tax waste, which is really a massive amount. And if we want to upgrade all of our units to line infantry, we will need a lot more arms industry, so I'm gonna have to queue up a few more of those too. Right now we got 4 and they're working overtime to supply the guns that our units need. Also, we're not getting recognition anymore because we have standard of living and GDP per capita below top 50. So it's bad. It's back to bad. We had a great start. Now it's back to bad. Whenever I feel bad though, I just look at this. My primary Han culture, how many people get converted to Han? It is beautiful. 4,600 in the early phase of the campaign. It's just a lot of people. Granted, it's because there's almost 400 million people, but it's still a lot, okay? As for when should you build construction sectors, because I see this question a lot, right? If you're not playing as a great power or a major power, as is the case for us, because we're technically neither of those, you want to be, in essence, increasing your construction sectors whenever you're not gonna go below 0 gold reserves. Because, as I said earlier, taking interest as a non-GP, a non-major power, is deadly. And for Qing, for Japan, non-recognized countries, it is literally GG's if you let it go out of control, especially if you're newer, you don't know what you're doing. All right, now let's also change over the other production method of condensed engine pumps, which means we're making even more iron so we can expand our economy even faster now. That's right, atmospheric engine pumps and condensed engine pumps, one after the other, is the reason we can start industrializing so fast, and we can just continue to build more and more construction sectors with the current amount of iron production, which is not so bad anymore. Let's see how much we're producing. We're producing 2.5 thousand compared to the 800, 900 that we were producing before. So we could potentially have at least 15 more construction sectors like right now, and we should still technically be okay. Now, one massive issue that has occurred because of our rise of standard of living and overall our initial modernization phase is we have a huge increase in grain demand. So we need to keep up with that. Right now it is minus 5,000 grain. We can start import some. Unfortunately, it's not going to be that much that we can import. So realistically, we just have to start building up rice farms everywhere that we can build rice farms. So I'm going to queue up 5 rice farms in pretty much every single state we got here, as well as we also need to get better production methods, namely intensive agriculture. I'm actually going to do that now, and then I'm going to queue up mass communication and everything else from society afterwards. Remember that famine is a very big problem in this particular patch, and in China especially, famine can strike really fast. Look at that, 500,000 people starving in this state, 700,000 starving in this one, 1.5 million starving in this one, 1 million starving in this one. It's mild starvation, but once that starts reaching severe starvation, we're gonna start losing population, and we really don't want to do that, do we now? Unless maybe we could do that in the states which we don't have primary population. I'm gonna leave some stuff out of this video that's not YouTube friendly, if you know what I mean. Time to also lower the autonomy of Joseon. This will increase for the time being their liberty desire, but it's still going to go down afterwards back to becoming low, which means afterwards we're going to be able to annex them for a lot less infamy. Tibet also is going to go from 41 to 10 infamy once they are in the low bracket for liberty desire. We also have some gold fields depleted. Well, that is actually amazing because gold is my favorite thing. So I'm going to queue up all 8 gold mines in Jilin, which is literally free money, and with the condensed engine pump, we're getting 25 per gold mine. That is 750 freaking minted gold. That is insane. I'm gonna queue up some more tooling workshops, and seeing as I need these in a few different states, I'm gonna queue them up in a few different states. Remember, our market access price impact is pretty bad still at 70-75%, something like that. Now, speaking of the construction queue, we also want to at some point get 1 textile mill in every single state that we have for 2 reasons. First off, our market access price impact is really bad still, and because of that, it's going to be cheaper for pops to buy textile mills, or better yet, to buy clothing from their own state than getting those goods from adjacent state, because that means they're still going to be like 30% more expensive, right? But we're going to do the same not only with textile mills, we're going to do the same with tooling workshops, which we need quite a few of still, and coal mines we also need quite a few of again, especially in Shangji. I'm going to out-click one for now, and then build some more in Henan and a few other provinces around. And the good old more government administration. I know I said earlier that don't spam government administrations, but fortunately you really kind of have to. I'm just talking, don't spam hundreds, spam tens of them, okay? That's what I'm saying here. Hey, we managed to get the armed forces out of the anti-Russian association, which means they're a lot more loyal now. They went from -6 to +2 neutral approval, which is a significant improvement. And look at that, we also got 2,000 more grain from building a few more farms. worse? No. Oh, the demand went down because our standard of living went down. That is not good then. That is actually not good. It would appear like it's also time for the Great North American War between the Americans and the Russians with the Mexicans. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna be a good guy here and I'm gonna help the Americans in exchange for bankrolling me. Why not? We get some friends in North America. It's worth it, I think. We're gonna just basically defend against the Russians. Plus, we get a truce with the Russians as consequence. So this is big brain because it means the Russians cannot attack us anymore for at least 5 years afterward, giving us time to increase our relations with them. And yes, we're also building one coal mine in pretty much all of the states because, again, low mappy, you need to have production of everything in every single state, really. Hopefully, the Russians did not ask for anything. They did not ask for anything from us, so hopefully they're gonna peace out ASAP and we don't need to lose too many soldiers. Come on, USA, kick some Mexican butt. The US is so freaking overpowered in this game, it's insane. One thing that I like though is that in this patch, the US takes its time with getting the Mexican provinces, but in this save, for some reason, 49, they're already back at it. Attackius, imperialist, scumbagius, American is here. Now, considering that France is not enemies with the Prussians, I'm gonna get a defensive alliance with them, just because I can. And look at that, we're holding, we're actually holding. You know what? I feel like when these 5 years are finished, I can attack the Russians and even take Siberia from them, because everybody knows Siberia is rightful Qing clay. And I know I said I'm going to be playing Toll, but Siberia technically is above us, so that makes us polar. Okay, I'm just spitting facts here. Okay, come on, we're only taking Siberia. That's it. Look at that. American also. We got a defensive pact with everybody, brother. This is ridiculous. The American Qing French Prussian axis. You never heard of it because they don't want you to know about the real history, guys. That's why. This is the real axis, not that weak ass Japanese Italian axis. All right, boys, come on. You want to offer military assistance? Okay. Oh my god, yes, please. Actually, all right, let's continue to also increase our construction sectors. Hey, Mexico's losing. Yes, baby, let's go. Yeah, it's literally just a bloodbath, even with the freaking Russians having sent 100 battalions in North Africa, and the Americans are still absolutely kicking ass. That is just the most America I've ever seen in any game so far. I'm loving this. Like, this is genuinely the perfect save game right now. You can literally see which states have the decree and which states do not have the decree. That's how much of a difference those decrees make in this game. The UK also wants to trade with us. We went from being arch enemies to clearly being bestest of buddies. This is why I love Qing. Qing, once you get rid of the initial ban on opium and the first few years of the campaign, you, because of the amount of trade potential that you have, literally can get everybody to be your best friend until you're ready to screw them over because they got no choice about it. They have to rely on your goods. And now, speaking of goods, it's time that we increase the amount of convoys. Let's max out our coastline here. We need as many convoys as we possibly can get our hands on. Plus convoys and better said ports will give us extra infrastructure, up to 35 infrastructure for level 5 cargo ports. So 35 infrastructure means we don't have any more infrastructure issues in Beijing, and we can start building more buildings in here as well, alongside of course getting more convoys, which means that we can do more trade with the outside world. What was I saying earlier? It's only 10 infamy to annex Tibet, so let's go ahead and do that. Oh, look how beautiful this is. Look how big the name is now. This is what the game is really about, guys. It's about having a big name on the map. I'm gonna be turning the state of Henan into my primary fertilizer plant state because I got the production method to change all my farms to use fertilizer, which means we're gonna go back to having a surplus of roughly 5,000 grain again, and more gold has been depleted, unfortunately. I'm just kidding. I don't mean unfortunately. I mean, finally, every time a gold field gets depleted, it turns into a gold mine, so it's, again, free money. Now, the reason we also chose Henan with the fertilizer plants is because they take input of sulfur mines, so we're going to queue up a few sulfur mines as well afterwards to be input in these fertilizer plants. Yeah, so remember how I said earlier that we're going to play Toll and not attack anyone? So I lied. We're attacking Gaza. We're taking the gold fields in Transvaal Orange, and we're gonna do a few extra colonies in Africa, and let's see what else happens. The reality is that we have now the power, we have the technology, and we just can't do it. If we can do it, why would we not do it? Okay, this is us being the world protector. We're protecting the Gazan people from themselves. Now let's check if Transvaal and Orange are guaranteed by the... Nope, this is not. They're both not guaranteed. Oh my god, the British have made the most insanely only massive mistake ever. That being said, it does seem like the British are supporting Transvaal. This is going to be interesting. They have yet to send any units to actually defend, but I expect them to do some naval invasions in my land, so I got to make sure that I have my units in the right headquarters just so I don't lose to a British naval invasion. Look at that. They're trying to invade Beijing and Hebei already. Oh no, what have I done? Britain, why die for Transvaal? Come on, bro. Why you do this, man? All right, I'm going to send my other army to defend against the British in Hebei as well. Come on, just piss off Britain. Why you got to do this, bro? Oh, look at that. 35 defense and 30 attack. We're maybe even going to win this, man. We are going to win this. It's Jover. It's Jover. We can actually defend against the British, and they gave up. You freaking pussies, Britain. Yeah, freaking. You are no longer the world police. You're just a Schnitzeldorf, okay? I said it. I freaking said it. You happy? In 6 months, we're also going to be insanely rich, guys. Just wait and see once we get Central Archives. It's going to be insane. I'm going to do right afterwards mechanized tools because I'm going to need to change to sulfite pulping my paper mills. We're going to need a lot more paper to make up for the government administration production method change. So that paper is going to come primarily from changing the production method to get double the amount of paper from the same amount of paper mills. Orange is significantly easier now because the British decided to be wussies and not join on the side of the orange. Hey, you know what, Britain? I'm going to go ahead and call you out for your bullshit, okay? You cannot just be defending Transvaal and not orange. It means you're favoritizing, okay? If you favoritiz like that, you're a favoritizer. Look at our freaking income. Holy snap. And now just check out how our income's going to explode. Look at that. Look at that, my dude. Oh my god. 3,000 paper. Yeah, we need a lot of paper. Holy shit, we need a lot of paper. This might not have been the smartest thing ever. I think we had some sulfur in Henan. Let's get some paper mills here now. So because, again, infrastructure is a big issue in Henan, we're going to change over to Xi'an, which also has sulfur. We're going to do 15 paper mills in Xi'an. And it seems like it's time for attempt number 2 at German leadership. The difference is that now they're going to win because I actually have line infantry and I'm going to crush the Austrians. In fact, to make sure that I crush the Austrians, I'm going to send all 3. Oh shit, the Russians joined on their side. Oh, that's not good. Wait a second. Hold up a bit. We're going to only send 1 army. We need the other 2 to defend against the Russians then. All right, we're actually winning on the Qing front. Let's check how it's going on in... Oh god. Well, I don't think we're going to see Germany united yet again. Yep, this is really bad. This is really, really bad. In fact, I'm pretty sure we're gonna lose this one, boys. That is the entirety of Prussia occupied by Russia. No Gucci. The Prussians have lost again. That is so sad, bro. That is beyond sad, honestly. Alright, so it is time for us to create our very own power block. We're gonna name this, of course, the Mandate of Heaven. It would be heresy, honestly, to not name it the Mandate of Heaven. And it is gonna be a trade league, internal trade, form as a power block. This here exactly why we didn't form it earlier. It does give us massive relationship reduction with all the great powers. And if we did form it earlier, that relationship reduction would have been the end of us because it would have meant the nations which we're currently allied to, we would have had no chance of allying. Granted, I probably could have formed this about 5 years ago, but it's still better than nothing forming it now. The main issue we have is that we don't have mandate progress. Why is that? Well, because we don't have many power block members. We only have Joseon aside from us. So that is exactly why I'm going to go on a little bit of an expansion spree, quote unquote, where we're going to be adding specific nations around us and even some nations not so much around us to the power block in order to speed up the mandate generation so we can get actually principles as this power block. I've also started recruiting more artillery pieces and I've deleted some of the lancers. Realistically, we want to have 140 infantry with 140 artillery as our standard for the armies. And if we want to make it smaller, we can just say split it in half, 70-70. Lancers, we can just keep as role-playing, I guess, or set them up in a separate army so we can actually take territory a little bit faster. For now, I'm keeping it as I don't have enough mobile artillery anyway. So once I do recruit all the artillery, it's going to be a completely different story. Now check it out, boys. We're also using 8,000 convoys for our trade. That is exactly why I went for internal trade, because I know some of you would be like, why didn't you go for external trade? Because you get 75% power block, trade route, bureaucracy cost reduction, which is huge. That is true. It basically means with free trade, we get 0 trade route bureaucracy costs, right? But the convoys is the issue. It's not the trade routes. We can get as many trade routes as we want. The convoys is an issue. Plus, we also need the extra infrastructure if possible. You got to remember that but I pretty much maxed out most of my ports right now. Actually, I can get some more in Formosa and in the north. I forgot about these areas. We were also pretty unlucky. We failed per capita taxation on the last adoption phase. It was so close to passing, and then we got 3 setbacks in a row and it failed. So that says a lot about this freaking game. Sometimes it is ridiculously RNG. I'm passing protectionism just because the way that I'm doing trade right now, I'm actually going to make a little bit of extra money, but realistically, I want to get free trade whenever I get some support for that. I've just been really unlucky with my politics and my laws in this particular run. We had like an amazing 10 out of 10 start, and it just started going downhill completely afterward. Oh, okay. Looks like Burma also wants to get a piece of this. We're going to get war reps from them too, and we're going to be... Oh, we cannot ban slavery for them. We don't have enough maneuvers. It's fine. You know what? I'll take these 2 nations as my first 2 puppets into the south, which means we're going to get quite a little bit of extra mandate generation because they are unrecognized regional powers. Both of them are, in fact, unrecognized regional powers. Oh, this is genuinely ridiculously easy to go through their lines here. I'm getting free puppets. Let's go, baby. Returning to the mandate of heaven. Oh, actually, that is true, isn't it? We're literally restoring the previous mandate of heaven tributaries. Back to the tribute lands, boys. Back to the tribute. It's not Ming, it's Qing this time. You gotta pay, though. And that's 1. Let's go ahead and improve relations with Senor Burma. And that's 2. All right, well, that is beautiful. Let's improve with these guys as well. So now, instead of 6 years, it's only 3 years to get our first mandate. And we're gonna make it even faster by adding more nations to the power block. I'm also gonna be getting 1 furniture manufactory in all of my main states just to have like a little bit of furniture alongside the 1 textile mills I built everywhere. Get them basic goods productions going, right? Oh my god, I hate this event. I really hate this event so much. The Krakatoa explosion. I feel like Paradox is making this a lot worse than it actually was historically, man. I mean, for Christ's sake, we got so much devastation now. This is honestly disgusting. It destroys all of South China. Also, I don't know if anyone from Paradox is watching, but I just got a really great idea. Why don't you give dialectics plus 10 max innovation cap? Because right now, this is kind of underwhelming researching this, and especially researching analytical philosophy, right? Give both of these plus 10 max innovation cap, because it's still not going to be enough innovation to research all of the techs by the end of the campaign, and it just makes it a lot more valuable as a technology to rush before the other stuff, right? We're losing a lot of money from devastation right now and from some of the other events, timed events, but on the bright side, we're getting a lot of gold mines. So once these gold mines are finished building, we're gonna get a buttload of money, and we also just got railroads, so infrastructure is not gonna be an issue anymore for us. Holy freaking finally. For the first time in this campaign as Qing, we actually managed to get a nation for free. Madagascar accepted being a tributary without actually having to invade them. It's also time for me to privatize my buildings. I should have done this a while back. I normally wait until I get laissez-faire to privatize, but as Qing, you really need to do this manually because it's gonna take a while before you get laissez-faire as Qing. Getting the industrialists in power is one of the most difficult things as this nation. But privatizing all these buildings has 2 good effects. First off, you get more middle class and upper class from the people that will be owning those buildings. And second off, most of the people that own those buildings will be supporting industrialists and so on. They're not necessarily going to be supporting the peasants, are they now? Look at this. Capitalists, 78% of them support the industrialists, whilst the aristocrats, of course, support the scholar officials. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But then we also have a lot of the middle class that also supports the industrialists. Like the engineers have quite a bit of support for industrialists and the petit bourgeoisie, as do the shopkeepers. Sadly for us, the only faction that supports any sort of school system is the industrialists as Qing. Literally all 3 of these types of education is only supported by the industrialists. I don't know why. I would expect religious schools to be supported by the Confucian school since, you know, it's religious school, but apparently they're a little bit confused about that. We got our first mandate, so we can do a principle. Now, reality is that in normal countries, you go for advanced research because you get the innovation cap increase. But seeing as getting an education system is a big issue, I'm going to go for some other principle, and we'll do advanced research after we got an education system going. Now, because I also want to get recognized at some point, be it diplomatically or by force, and also because I have massive shortages of food, I'm going to go for food standardization. This is going to lower the mortality, which means we get more pops, not like we need it, but still. It also increases our standard of living, and it allows us to get the efficient canning practices, production method for our food industries. Another one I'm thinking about is vassalization, which is going to give authority per subject, as well as it will increase the income transfer from subject. But right now we only have 3-4 subjects, so it's not that big of a deal. We can get that one later. later if we still haven't gotten by that point some sort of education system. All right, guys, it's time for a massive war against the Russians. Our demands are as follows. We're asking them to liberate the Far East, liberate Yakutia, liberate Kazakhstan, and we're keeping 20 maneuvers so we can call in the Prussians as well. This is it, boys. This is the big war where we're gonna basically get all of the Siberian parts liberated in order to ensure that we can afterwards, maybe diplomatically, maybe militarily, puppet them for ourselves and add them to our power block in essence. This is also basically the first Oh, bro, really, Russia? You back down, you sons of bitches. Oh, I guess, we got Far East, guys. We got Far East. Far East is better than nothing, right? We got minus 900 leverage with them, which is horrible. So we're gonna have to militarily attack them. They are an unrecognized power shoe. It shouldn't be that difficult. Oh my God, France is crushing the Brazilians. Holy mother of God. What is the Peru-Bolivia war? Oh, Brazil wants to make Peru-Bolivia a protector, and the French are like, nope, cannot do that, sir. Guessing they got some sort of... No, they don't even have a defensive pack, nothing. France just decided to cuck the Brazilians because they can, basically. Wait, what? We're getting recognition? Oh, because we won against the Russians, right? Okay, let's ask embassy from people now. Who could we ask embassy from people? I don't think anyone's gonna give us. The French might give us if we owe them obligation. Give me a man after midnight. I love you, France. Okay, that's it. Yeah, I feel like that might have been a mistake. That definitely might have been a mistake. I do not have even close enough. I would need to win at least one more or two more wars against a major power. How would I do that? Because let's face it, my standard of living in GDP per capita is not going to be in the top 50 anytime soon with 433 million population. I'm going to see if I can maybe win a war against the British. So I basically tactically attacked Argentina, making them a puppet in the process, but also because I knew for sure that one of the great powers would join in on this side. Oh my God, Peru, Bolivia, what happened here? Clearly they won the war and now they have like half land-wise at least of South America. Holy schnitzel. They are the new Brazil, aren't they? Oh, dude, seriously? If Argentina is back down. Oh my God. Like, actually, oh my God. You guys stop doing that. Stop it. I need to freaking... Now this is entire... The whole earning recognition is gonna go down to 0 now. Literally to 0. Bro, really? That was the only great power I could fight because the Americans are on my side. The French and the Prussians are too. So it really would have been just the British and the Russian. Who else is a great power, actually? That's it. That's everybody. Oh, no, Austria. How would I fight the Austrians, though? Yeah, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Persia back down as well against the British. What happened? You guys a puppet now? No, you're not a puppet. Then why did you back down? What happened here? Oh, Kandahar. Oh, I see what's happening. Oh, this is disgusting. Afghani's unifying you. Seeing as we have grown our vassal swarm quite a bit, we're gonna go for this particular principle, which means we gained 150 authority flat out from that. That is actually pretty huge. I also managed to get an industrialist general, which I promoted to field marshal, which also means that we now get 20% interest group political strength for the industrialists. It's kind of hard to even roll industrialists, but at this point I'm so desperate that I'm just gonna roll all the industrialists that I can as generals and promote them, so I maybe get a bit more boost for the industrialists in general. They stopped being marginalized because of my general tactics, so maybe I'm gonna be able to form. I am gonna be formed. Oh my God, I got the industrialists in government. Oh, let's go, baby. Oh my God, this is freaking huge. Oh, please don't fail. Actually curious, did Paradox increase the amount of gold mines in Qing? Because we've got a lot of freaking gold mines. It's insane. We got our first company too. I don't know what to do here, guys, because I have a mass. Look at this. Just take a good look at this. I've been building farms still, and we still have 4,000 reduction in grain. It's actually affecting us. So what do? Do I go for the agriculture company, which is not very productive, right? Because we don't have the best production methods, or do we go for the steel mills because we do need a lot of iron and lead and steel, or do we go for the minting, which is going to give 5% flat minting, which is actually huge. It's like 20,000 on the go. Flat out, you click this, you get 100 prosperity, you get 20,000 just from the minting bonus, not to mention the loyalists and the throughput bonus for the mines. Oh, I don't know what to do. They're all so freaking good, man. I think I'm going to go for the gold. I was thinking to go the metal company, but I'll do that second. I'll do gold first and metal afterwards. See how that goes. I love academic assistance. So this is by far one of my favorite. 3-phase increase. Look at that. We can go to consideration phase just from clicking this third option with no repercussions. Now it does seem like the British are at war with the Russians, and it's a pretty brutal war. They want to transfer Kandahar to themselves from the Russians. Whatever the case, this is a great opportunity for me to take advantage because my truce with the Russians is about to expire in 13 weeks. weeks, so I'm gonna be ready, and I'm gonna do my own war against them when their units have been absolutely depleted. Let's go! Public schools! Oh my god, freaking finally, dude. We need to get this to level 3, so we need to get 8,000 bureaucracy, and we can get a little bit more by switching all of our government administrations to standardized filing cabinets, but it's still not gonna be enough. We still have a pretty significant shortage, and not to mention the amount of paper this costs is just ridiculous. 180,000 we're paying only for the paper. Let that sink in, guys. That is just wild. Oh my god, look how cheap that is. 6 infamy for the Far East. They're an unrecognized power. That's why they're not that powerful yet. Oh, would you look at that? The Prussians are even in winning against the Russians. Granted, that's because the Russians have literally their entire army on my front, but still good to see good old Prussia actually doing something for once, even though half the army is still literally not even mobilized. What is happening here, Prussia? Can someone explain to me why the AI is so poo-poo brain when they're helping you out? There we go. Now the Prussians are actually helping properly because the Russians sent a bigger contingent on their front, so they're kind of scared, I believe, since they have no more units left in Prussia. Everybody's defending here now. That being said, we're making massive advances over in the north. We've basically gotten most of the war target, and surprisingly, I don't have available the mineral company that I had earlier. Why is that? Oh, I don't have 5 levels of the bill. We privatized way more than we should have. You know what we can do in that case? We can unprivatize one of these. We're gonna nationalize 1 level, so that way we have the available levels to get the company established. There you go. In case you guys are wondering, sometimes it doesn't show. It's because it only shows if you have nationally owned buildings, unless you're on laissez-faire economic system, in which case it shows you everything because you can just buy them off. I'm gonna leave the first part of the campaign here. If you enjoyed it and you want to see the second part continue, don't forget to leave a like, and do consider subscribing if you learned something from today's video or if you enjoyed watching it. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.